going to share with you the context in which you adopt will completely change your life by making your life infinitely more impactful, fulfilling, and rewarding. Now, before I share the details, I want to give a little bit of context first, right? So we live as a fractal of how the universe works. In other words, how our biology works is how reality works. This is the law of correspondence. And so, I don't know if you know, 78% of your DNA doesn't make proteins, it makes light. So we literally make bio-photons, light particles from a biological source. And when that light particle emanates away from us, a piece of us becomes separate, right? And so this light particle, let's call it Bob, thinks it's its own entity. It's out there. If it has an ego, it's going to be like, hey, I have a purpose. I'm here to do something. But yet, from purely an energetic perspective, it actually, the only purpose is for it to bounce around the universe and pick up different vibrations, and then it bounces back to source, and we actually have DNA receptors for these biophotons, right? And so I encourage you to consider this, that we are the biophoton of source/God, right? We are here thinking we have this big purpose to do, but really our purpose is to simply experience what I call the totality of reality, right? To feel, think, experience all the things without judgment. And so here's the interesting part. In Dharma-Hurrian philosophy, right, they believe that when we incarnate as a being, at least 8 different personalities, right, 8 different spirits or souls come together as one. And then we learn to harmonize these 8 plus spirits or souls or personalities as one. And then when we die, right, we become from 8 to plus to 1. And then that 1 joins with 7 plus others and becomes 1, right? So in other words, it's consolidating, right? It's consolidating. And here's the interesting part. What if, and this is just a law of polarity and rhythm, by the way, in hermetics, right? What if Source made infinite versions of itself? If we have emanated bazillion, trillion, gazillion, right? Totally made up the number of these biophotons, and they're out there in the universe. And yet they're also consolidating, right? They're joining together 8 plus as 1, and then they go through an experience, and then that 1 joins with another 7 plus, it becomes 1, joins with another 7 plus with 1 with each incarnation. And so we're literally returning back to source, and this is the Ouroboros. It's the snake eating its tail. Everything happens in a circular, rhythmic fashion. Why am I sharing this? Well, when you take this context in, it completely changes the context of life, and you get a bigger context of what's happening. Not just let me make money to have enough stuff to have freedom to retire to enjoy life. There's an infinitely bigger game that's happening that I'm inviting you to consider for you to feel into the immensity of your existence.